Ladies and gentlemen, if you'll stand with us, please, for the pledge to the flag. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Welcome to the first Christiansburg Town Council meeting of 2013. And let me take this opportunity to wish all of you a very happy new year. Town Council is now in session. You have a copy of the minutes from the last two meetings. One was a work session and the other was a regular meeting, and we'll need to approve the minutes of both of those.
I move we approve both.
Motion and a second to approve the December 18th regular meeting and the work session. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. We haven't had anyone sign up today or contact us about speaking this evening. We'll use this time for anyone who would like to address council on any matter. So is there anyone here that would like to speak to council on any concern? If not, then we'll close the citizens' hearing and move on to discussion by the mayor and council members.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
If I may, before we proceed, Your Honor, Mr. Mayor, I would like to make a motion that to amend the agenda that we have this evening to include a closed session. It won't take very long at all, but probably to follow our closed session that's listed under Section 3 to discuss I believe it would be a contractual matter, whereas in the course of a public discussion it can prove detrimental to our position. And I would ask that that I be allowed to amend the agenda and that we take up that potential contractual matter in closed session.
All right, that would be in addition to the closed session that's listed.
It's not in relation to, but it would be, I would ask for it to be just simply following that. And it would be a very quick matter.
All right.
I'll second that, although I have no idea what Councilman Hall is in mind, but I trust him.
With an asterisk.
We have a motion and a second to amend the agenda to include a closed meeting following the first closed meeting, if we have it. All right. All in favor of amending the agenda to include a closed session, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
We need to take town council action on a public easement and right-of-way vacation in Kensington Phase 5, lots 1 through 15, creating 15 lots located on Ulrich Lane or Ulrich Avenue Northwest. This public hearing was held on December the 18th. And this is one we have to have a recommendation from the planning commission? I didn't think so. So we'll need to proceed with this action depending on your wishes.
I move we approve.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the public easement creating 15 lots in the Kensington Phase 5 located on Aldrich Avenue.
Before we vote, may I ask Randy a question? I don't believe Barry had talked too much about this, had he?
Easement vacation in Kensington that was dedicated with Phase 5.
Right.
They want to extend the street, basically vacating the extra cul-de-sac right of way and the drainage easement in that area. They're going to dedicate the drainage easement further down on the property.
And it's advisable by staff that we do this?
Yes.
That's what I want to know. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, I think we got that clarified at the public hearing, that
Okay.
it was recommended by the staff.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there further discussion? If not, Ms. Clerk, will you poll council on this matter?
Yes, sir. Councilman Barber,
Aye.
Councilman Hall,
Aye.
Councilman Hubbard,
Aye.
Councilman Showalter,
Aye.
Councilman Stipes,
Aye.
Councilman Van Hoosier,
Aye.
I believe that's a 6-0, and that motion carries. Thank you. This is the first meeting of the new year, so it's our reorganization night. And the first order is to elect a vice mayor. I appreciate Mr. Van Hoosier serving as vice mayor this past year. In keeping with our policy, I guess, we usually take turns serving as vice mayor depending on your length of time in office. And the next person who's coming up for qualification would be Mr. Showalter.
Yeah, and I appreciate it, Mayor, but I'd like to nominate Steve Hubbard as the vice mayor, if Steve would be willing to take that role.
Well, I appreciate that too, but should we go on even seniority?
It's on looks. It's going looks. We'll go.
Oh, well, I'll take it. I got
Should have
it.
been.
I got that going, boys.
I'll get overriding that,
Really,
yes.
the next person based on seniority would be Mr. Hall.
And Mr. Mayor, respectfully, I would ask to be relieved of being the vice mayor, and I also would echo the sentiments of Mr. Showalter. I think Mr. Hubbard will do a fine job.
I second. I like that idea.
All right, and
Well,
then
thank you
next
very
year
much. I
we'll
appreciate
come back to you again.
Sure it will.
If it's your desire.
Thank you.
So you nominated Mr. Hubbard, and there is a second, I believe.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor.
All right.
Scissor hands work pretty good.
All right, all in favor of Mr. Hubbard serving as vice chair or vice mayor for the coming year, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. And we'll need to add your name to the signature card.
They wouldn't let me use it.
They wouldn't let you sign checks.
You get to sign any check.
We need to set the regular meeting dates of council.
Mr. Mayor, I know this issue's come up numerous times before, but I would move that we set the meeting dates of council on the second and fourth Tuesdays each month, which is a modification from the way we've done things in the past, being the first and third Tuesdays.
I'll second.
And a motion and a second. And traditionally, we've held first and third for umpteen years, I guess. The only drawback I would see is that a lot of folks plan their schedules around that first and third, since we've been doing that for years. But we'll do whatever council desires.
Well, it creates a conflict for me. I'm on our church board, and we meet on the fourth Tuesday, and I would like to continue that, so I can't support the motion.
It also conflicts with two board meetings that I have during the month, so I could not support it either.
On the other hand, I think we all are aware that the school board is going to have a series of very important meetings this coming spring. And there has been some things saying, well, if there's a big meeting that somebody on council, instead of coming to council, they can go to this school board meeting, but I don't think that's right. I don't think it should be done that way. I mean, if you are on council, you should be here at council. And I sort of feel this way, that why don't we try it for 1 year? Why don't we try it to see if it would go well? If a year from now we say, no, changing to the second and the fourth is not worked out well, nobody really got involved in the school board, it was not advantageous to have it on the same time as Blacksburg, then we can always change it back.
Yeah.
But I think right now, this is maybe an important time to consider changing our dates.
I think the problem I have with it is that, one, you're asking us to change meetings from now and into the future to be able, for some of you, to attend meetings of the school board that you have absolutely no vote, no voice, and no control on. We were elected by the citizens to represent the town, and it is our foremost purpose is to handle the affairs of the town of Christiansburg. And I see no reason to change.
And I would agree, it is our foremost purpose to handle the affairs of the town of Christopher, which is why it doesn't resonate with me that even if there's other boards that we're on, this board takes precedent. This is the most important board we can be on, and not only that, we requested the permission by the citizens of the town to be a member of this board. And so again, it does take precedence over any other board that we could possibly be serving on. But if you take it another look at it from the direction, it's not so much that, and I would like the opportunity to go to the school board once in a while, especially this past year. 2 years now, the school board has requested tax increases, which directly affect our town citizens. And they've requested this from the board of supervisors. And so that, of course, affects the citizens, affects me. It also the funding of the schools affects me. I'm a parent. It's probably the only thing in my life which actually supersedes even me on council, being a parent. But I think we send the message to our citizens that choose. You can come to council, you can come to school board. And I don't think that's the message we should be sending. And right now, we are the only, the only locality which has a meeting schedule which is not in line with others, and therefore we have the conflict. Board of Supervisors Wednesdays, in Blacksburg Town Council second and fourth Tuesdays, school board still first and third Tuesdays. If we were to move ours to second and fourth, we have not put ourselves in a position of not being able to attend. And not only that, I think an elected representative of the town of Christopher attending a school board meeting as well as going to a board of supervisors meeting, which we've been to a few. I think that's powerful. Again, we are elected. We are trusted. I think when we show up, it means something. But again, I think it's nice for our citizens not to have to come here or come there or go there and choose. And I've been asked a couple of times by members of the student body in Christiansburg High School to attend a school board meeting, and I can't. I'm sorry. Can't help you there. I've got to be here. And it just doesn't feel right to me that we can't attend. And it doesn't feel right to me that we...
You have heard two councilmen say that they have conflicts on the second and fourth. The mayor also has a conflict. And if we're moving the meeting just to give council members an opportunity to go to school board meetings, I just don't think that's a good reason to.
Well, I wonder, we always talk about, is there a compelling reason to change it? Well, give me the compelling reason not to change it.
I think you just heard two councilmen say they had conflicts and could not attend second and fourth, council meetings.
Is it such a thing then that the school board would be approached to change their meetings to not conflict with ours?
And I
But
wish...
of course, it's the same. I'm not
I got you.
a litigator, so you're gonna whip me on this, but the fact of the matter is, the problem is there. It's always gonna be there. The fact that we have talked about this in the past, my position is very firm on it. If there's going to be a change, then maybe they should be approached to make the change. I don't feel we should.
I'm looking at the people here on this board right now, and I'm looking at the people that have children who are attending school right now. And I think Mr. Hall brought out a very good point, to have an opportunity for us to be there in the crowd, maybe, no voting thing, but people see, hey, somebody from the town council of Christiansburg is there at that meeting, and they feel that this is important, what's going on. And if these meetings were just gonna be, no big thing, but we all know these meetings this spring are going to be very important. And I realize that other people have conflicts with their church and things like that, but I think in a situation like this overrides anything else, really.
Well,
This is a very important thing for the town, for the community, for everyone.
Well, the other question too is that, I think we've stated reasons that our town benefits, that we benefit, of course, as people, as being able to attend these meetings, but our citizens benefit by being able to attend these meetings and not have to choose. I don't see the benefit gained by our town citizens who elected us if we don't. I feel like it's just, we're just not gonna do it. I don't see a benefit. Now, a personal benefit, maybe there would be one. And I'm certainly not advocating that anybody have to give up a board, but same respect, those meetings could be modified, I think. But the school board's not gonna change their meetings. They're just not gonna do it. And I'm tired, the more we wait on them, we're just kicking the can on down the road. We're not gonna get anywhere.
Well, I haven't said anything, and it's actually not something that I feel very strongly about. I've talked to one council member about it, happened to be Councilman Hall, and I think it was Saturday. We spoke for a few minutes, and I told him the same thing, that it's not something I'm very passionate about one way or the other. I do have an aversion to being like an acorn on a trampoline. I have not heard from anybody on the issue. If I had heard from even a half a dozen folks that would think that that's a good idea, that there's a reason we should change for the sake of change is never something I'm a big fan of. I guess it's just the way I am. Change with a good reason, absolutely, I'm all for it, and I think that I act that way. So, simply put, I've already I took an earlier position on this. I'm not compelled. I haven't heard from anybody on this. I don't think there's not a groundswell out there, or, to my knowledge and to my recollection, I don't think I've received a single email on this, or I know I haven't received any phone calls on it that we should do this. And with deep respect for Mr. Hall's position and his passion for this, to be consistent with my, previous position on it, that's not changed because it's not been compelled to change. So I'll take the same position this time, that I don't feel like it's a big need to change it right now.
Mr. Stipes, could I ask you one question?
Anything.
How many calls did you get on the Kensington easement?
Zero.
And yet this council voted unanimously to approve
Well,
that?
I don't want to get into a parallel discussion on, there are some things we're compelled to take action on. I don't think we're compelled to take, if I felt compelled to take action on this other thing, I would be right next to you on that.
Well, my point was being that at times, we're in a unique position to be able to judge these things and see what's out there. And I just think that as a member of the town council, if I see that our citizens have to choose, and therefore our citizens are put behind the 8 ball at some times, and certainly at the discussion table with the school board, I feel compelled to request that we modify.
And I respect that. I respect that completely, and had some other people, people come and even spoke at a council meeting on that, citizens, but
I wonder if there's folks in the audience, if this change is made, would you attend school board meetings in lieu of?
I don't think that's an issue that needs to be brought up, Dick.
And other than the reporter, I don't think there's anyone here that I'm seeing.
But I will remain open-minded. I'll say that too. I'm gonna take this position tonight, but I'll remain open-minded on it. And if there's a lot of people that would like to see us do that out there, and I think by the same token, Councilman, I don't want to say anyone. For the same token, I think some people we have regular attendees at this meeting too. So maybe they've worked their own schedule to be here. I don't know, because I haven't heard from anybody on it. That's all I'm saying. I haven't heard. I'm not compelled that there's a lot of people out there that would,
The president of the, Andrew, you're president of the senior class or the school board, or the town council?
Student council
Student
president.
council. Do you think that students?
Let's not get the audience involved in this. It's not open for discussion by
Okay,
the
that's what I
audience.
thought you'd done, okay.
Well, I believe there was also some discussion about the monthly bills, and I don't want to put you on the spot as this is the decision that I'm choosing to make it, but wouldn't it be easier for us to get more of accountability if we had our meetings at least a week and a half into the month, or 2 weeks? I believe you mentioned something like that.
It would really depend on when that second meeting fell. It may or may not. We may have the financials by that time, we may not. It just depends on if it fell real early in the month, like the 7th or 8th, maybe. If it fell more like the 10th or 11th, probably, yeah, we'd have to report something.
But, I mean,
It would change bill list though, because right now we say we'll pay by the, later than the 10th of the month. And that could create a problem with that date would have to be shifted to a different date for our normal monthly bills.
I believe everybody's had a chance to express themselves, so are you ready to vote? Seeing a nod of the heads, then, Ms. Clerk, will you poll council on this matter? A yes vote is to change the meeting to the 4th, the 2nd and the 4th. A no vote is to leave it the same.
Councilman Barber.
No.
Councilman Hall.
Aye.
Councilman Hubbard,
Aye.
Councilman Showalter,
Aye.
Councilman Stipes,
No.
Councilman Van Hoosier.
No.
I think I heard a 3-3,
Yes, sir.
and I think I stated my position. There are too many conflicts, and people schedule their activities around the 1st and the 3rd if you're associated with the school board, with the board, town council, so my vote is no. And the motion is defeated.
I think we still have to set the meeting date, so don't we?
Yes. I don't think the
I
no
move
vote did it.
The meeting dates are the 1st and 3rd Tuesdays of the month.
I'll second.
Motion and a second to set the council meetings, 1st and the 3rd meetings of the month. Discussion? Ms. Clerk, poll council again, please.
Could I get the second on that?
Mr. Van Hook?
Okay, thank you. Councilman Barber,
Aye.
Councilman Hall,
No, for the reasons stated previously.
Councilman Hubbard,
No.
Councilman Showalter,
No.
Councilman Stipes,
Aye.
Councilman Van Hoosier,
Aye.
3-3 vote, the mayor will vote aye. And the motion carries. Next item on the agenda is to authorize the vice mayor, assistant to the town manager, and the assistant treasurer to sign checks for the town during the coming year when necessary.
May I have a
No, no.
clarification of this?
Yeah,
Should it be assistant town manager instead of assistant to the town manager?
I think so.
Actually, I think we probably both should be on there.
I'd like it to be the assistant town manager.
And also, we don't have anyone in the assistant treasurer position. We would like to add the treasurer's department office manager rather than the assistant treasurer.
And that would be
Sherry
Ms. Hunter. Okay.
Sir, you give us reasons as to why we want to add, you mentioned 2 extra people. It's not only yourself, but the assistant to the town manager and now the office manager and the treasurer.
I think Adam was on there previously from when the assistant town manager's position was vacant.
So we want to remove Adam?
Uh,
Your recommendation was to keep him on there.
I don't see a problem keeping him on there, personally.
Well, I'd like to see us just move it then to the vice mayor, the assistant to the town manager, the assistant town manager, and leave the assistant treasurer's position out.
And include the treasurer's department office manager.
No.
That doesn't leave a secondary tax lien. If I
From
go
the
on
treasurer's
vacation,
department.
there's no one to
So
It
today-
says 2 people sign checks.
There's one person from administration and one
Yeah.
person from the treasurer's department.
So basically, what you're saying, then the assistant to the town manager being able to sign checks with that authority, put in comparison that you need someone else in your office that can do it.
Right, because the 2 signatures has to be one from
Your office.
administration, which would be one of the, either Barry or Randy,
I'd like to
or
see,
Adam, and the second signature has to be from the treasurer's office.
Okay.
Now, the mayor or vice mayor can sign if we're not available, if
Right.
there's nobody from that department or nobody from treasurer, then the mayor or vice mayor can sign instead of one or the other, but there has to be one from each.
Like, I
Okay.
wouldn't mind adding the treasury business manager, the treasurer
The office
is
manager.
office manager, but, I mean, is there any reason that, I know you recommend Adam, but
If you want to strike it, that's
I don't
something
see the
for
need to have
discussion.
Adam. We've got the assistant town manager.
Barry or I, one will be in town.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
So we're basically looking to authorize the vice mayor, assistant town manager, assistant treasurer.
Office manager.
Yeah, office manager, I'm sorry,
Office
office
manager.
manager.
Instead of assistant treasurer, we don't have that position filled.
And treasurer, office manager.
I'd like a clarification, if it can be provided right now. Today, who can sign checks? I want to know who that is.
Myself, Gary, Val, and
Sherry and Adam, the mayor and the vice mayor.
Sherry's not authorized now, is she?
I don't,
She is.
I don't recall Adam or Sherry being on that.
Oh, I remember Adam been on there, but
when there was vacancy in the assistant manager's position.
I don't either.
I don't ever.
Oh, while there was a gap. Okay, and that makes sense.
And we put
Okay.
Sherry on as office manager so that I could actually take vacation.
just out of place,
That's not-
checks and leave.
Yeah.
Or a day off, once in a
There's
while.
only been one occasion this past year where my signature was needed for you or for Sherry.
So the motion and the second is for what again? I'm sorry.
Vice mayor, assistant town manager, the office manager, office treasurer,
Treasurer,
yeah,
office manager.
manager.
Finance office manager.
There we go.
There you go, that's good.
All right.
Is that an official title?
Yes.
It is now.
Second.
Okay.
All right, we have a motion and a second to add those names to the signature card. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Next is the appointment of committees, which is the role of the responsibility of the mayor. I'm gonna leave all the committees the same with the exception of the cemetery committee. The cemetery committee will be comprised of Mr. Stipes and Mr. Huppert. The Council on Human Relations, that used to be Mr. Sisson and Mr. Hall. That has not met for the last 3 years. We'll make it an ad hoc committee, and then should it be necessary for it to meet, then we'll tap Mr. Hall to serve on that
So
committee.
just to understand correctly, the cemetery committee, which has been Mr. Stipes and myself, I'm off of that now?
Right.
For any particular, I mean, I know it's at the discretion of the mayor, but we're kind of in the middle of some things on that
Trying
committee.
to even things up a little bit, I guess.
Okay.
I try to get at least 2 people on each.
Would it be, is it, since the names weren't on here, I wasn't sure what your recommendations were gonna be. I'd be more than happy to oblige, you said instead of, who was the other one from Stipes and Hubbard?
Yeah, and I do not necessarily need to be on that.
No,
I mean,
no.
that's no.
No, I accept the mayor's position completely. That's
Well, I do too. I would be happy to acquiesce that.
Just trying to free up
I've been
some
on it for
time.
100 years.
How busy court is with the human relations.
And we've also made,
Where you can switch with him and take that, Brad, that's a big commitment.
we've also made the Public Health and Public Welfare Committee an ad hoc committee. Since that one, I don't ever remember that one meeting.
Well, and I don't mean to make anything awkward, but I'd be more than happy to acquiesce the cemetery assignment. And I've also, as we form the Bikeway Walkway Committee, I would like to be considered for that.
I would be on board with that, because I would like to see that go forward, and I know you're a big proponent of that,
Yeah.
and want to be involved with that, so.
Yeah, no action has been taken on that other than we have talked about on advisory committee. So we'll hold on that bike committee until we get things a little better ordered. But I don't need the approval of council since this is an appointment by the mayor, so unless you want to see me privately to discuss it, my position is usually if you don't want to serve on a committee, find someone to take your place. But we usually leave committees the same so that they get that continuity. Okay? And I think on the Central Business Committee, they've got plenty of continuity there. I believe you and Mr. Hubbard have served on that for 15 years. We do not have to take action on a closed meeting under Virginia Code Section for discussion of interviews, prospective candidates for employment, assignment, promotion, performance, demotion, salaries, disciplining, or resignation of specific public officers or appointees or employees of this public body. We put that on there in the event that you would like to have a closed session when we get to the appointment officers. And we do have 5 officers that are appointed by council. And one is the town manager. And the town manager suggested that we put that on there just in case you wanted to discuss his performance. And we can do that in closed session. We also have a compilation of the skills and knowledge, communication, job performance for the town manager. We have that for you. If you, I'll give you copies of it. If you want to discuss it, we'll need to do it in closed session, though.
Mr. Mayor, didn't Council Hall amended the?
Yes, that following this request, we'll go into closed session for another matter.
Okay.
Well, we have to come back or I guess the first question is council inclined to go into closed session for our annual appointments? That's the first question, is that right, Mayor?
Right.
And then,
It's not something that you requested,
Right.
it's something that
it's all
town
in
manager
case we
put
need-
on there just in case you do want it.
And Councilman Halls is for a separate
Yes, sir.
matter.
His is for a contract.
I don't feel compelled to have a closed session for discussion of these appointees. I feel
I agree
more
with that.
comfortable
I
with that.
agree.
Either.
All right. How about, you okay with it?
I'm fine.
And Mr. Showalter and Mr. Hall?
It would be good. I'm comfortable, well, I mean, we have several positions to discuss, and I'm happy with, I'll support whatever anyone else wants to do on this. If one person feels like we need to do a closed session, I'm happy to do that, make that known. But as far as the town manager goes, I think the fact that we were shared this review, the evaluation form,
Right.
that at a time that we can work or go through that with the town manager, I would like to do that in a closed session.
And we might want to do that with the town manager when he returns.
Right, I think it's a good idea.
do have a compilation
History's
of,
been done.
The skills rated by town council
Yeah.
and those by the staff or the department heads, and I'll share that with you
Yeah.
at the conclusion of this meeting.
I would like to keep that on the forefront there for us to do, because I think it'd be good for him and good for us.
Okay, well, let's move forward then with the,
Mr. Mayor, let me just, I'm just talking for myself, but I think in the long run, it's gonna come out, and for all these officers here, I myself feel very pleased that you people are working for us, and I think you do a great service for the town of Christiansburg, and I don't think we say it very often, what we appreciate the efforts that are being put out there. I think I represent council, but I'm just saying that for myself.
all right, and we can appoint these all in one motion, or you can take them separately.
Actually, I don't mind to say something here. I just thought of this. Since this also has to do with it has to do with, this potential closed meeting has to do with our specific appointments that we do on an annual basis, correct?
Correct.
I would like to call for a closed session.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second to go in closed session. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And is this one we need to take a voice vote?
Yes.
All right. Ms. Clerk, will you poll council?
Before you do that, Mayor,
Yes.
can we also, can we modify the motion to add Mr. Hall so you don't have to do it twice?
As long as
Yeah,
it's
we can
legal,
do
I
that
think
as long as it's
a good idea.
legal.
You can. And I did want to make sure that in Mr. Hall's motion that we add that the Virginia Code section is 2.2-3711A3.
A 3 instead of
Yes.
1, which is a contractual,
Right. Well, 1 is your employment.
All right. Does that motion include both?
Well, I think
Both
that's
closed
the-
sessions?
Brad, is that your motion to include both?
Oh, absolutely, if we can, and
Yeah,
being
so-
advised
All right.
that, yes.
Legal to do that. Okay, Ms. Clerk, poll council to see if they want to go into closed session.
Yes, sir. Councilman Barber,
Aye.
Councilman Hall,
Aye.
Councilman Hubbard,
All right.
Councilman Showalter,
Aye.
Councilman Stipes,
Aye.
Councilman Van Hoosier.
Aye. And that's a 6-0 vote. We'll be in closed session. Let's take about a 5-minute recess to, not only clear the room, but take a little break. We're ready.
Okay. I move to certify that the town council of the town of Christiansburg meeting and closed session meeting is in the best of each member's knowledge, discussed only public business matters lawfully exempt from open meeting requirements by the Virginia law. And the only such matters as are identified in the resolution to end the closed meeting. Do I have a motion to?
That's a motion you're making.
Yeah, I am.
I'll second
it.
Okay.
Motion and a second. Ms. Clerk, will you poll council?
Councilman Barber,
Aye.
Councilman Hall,
Aye.
Councilman Hubbard,
Aye.
Councilman Showalter, Councilman Stipes,
Aye.
Councilman Van Hoosier.
Aye. That's a 6-0 vote, and we are back in regular session. And we still have the appointment of officers.
I move that we reappoint the town manager, finance director / treasurer, police chief, clerk of council, and town attorney.
Second.
Can you, would it be the pleasure to take the town clerk out of that vote for the initial vote, please?
Okay,
And to just separate that from the other two, if you don't mind.
other,
That's for yes.
other four.
That's
So
fine. Yeah,
that's-
I'll take my second back then.
That's for, oh, wait a second.
I'll restate it. I move that we reappoint the town manager, finance director / treasurer, police chief, and town attorney for the year 2013.
And I'll second that.
Motion and a second. Discussion. All in favor of the appointments of the four mentioned, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. And that leaves us with clerk of council.
And I believe, Mr. Stipes, what you were saying is that you need to recuse yourself pursuant to the Conflict of Interest Act of Virginia because of the relationship between you and the town clerk.
My intent is to abstain from the appointment.
I think that's what I heard.
Yeah, that's what we heard.
Yeah, that's exactly what you.
I move that we
You have
reappoint,
very good hearing from that side of the table.
I move that we reappoint the clerk of council.
And I second that.
Motion and a second to reappoint the clerk for the coming year. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed, no. And we have one abstention.
Thank you,
He has recused himself. If you'll make a notation of that, please. Mr. Town Manager.
Have the bills in front of you?
Yes, we-
I've got a question about the bills. It's not a criticism or anything, but a lot of these, when I went through it this time, a lot of that are over $1,000 don't have a description for them. Have we discussed before about what we were asking for on that? Is it something above 1,000 or? I think there's about 25 or 30
I
of them.
use usually about 3,000 when I go through the list. If it's over 3, I try and put an explanation if it's not fairly clear from who the vendor is.
And the question
I could do more if you want me to tell.
No.
Well, you're actually doing more, because I think we did discuss
I
5,000.
think it was five.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I'm
I'm
It's
comfortable
not a
with three.
criticism, it's, I just didn't, I couldn't remember.
That's understandable.
I have two questions, if I could. The first question is concerning on page 1, and it's concerning the towel service that the aquatics are using, and I believe the amount was $1,228. is that a bill for 1 month for towel service for the aquatic center?
I believe it's for more than 1 month, but I will double check and let you guys know tomorrow.
And I was wondering, and I go to the aquatic center quite often, and they give out the towels, and it's a very nice benefit there. But this is the amount of money that they're paying a towel service to launder these towels, is that correct?
Yes.
And do you think it would be a way that the aquatic center could do that themselves? Or would we have to buy the towels, or, I was just looking if that's 2 months, we're paying.
We don't own the towels.
I know, that's what I'm thinking, yeah. Do we,
Towels.
or how much the money would be if we had to buy towels, and in the long run, would it be a cost saver?
I know
Well, we
that,
charge a rental fee right now for the towels.
No, you don't.
It's $1.
What are you gonna
It
say,
used to be,
Randy?
but it's not anymore.
that was discussed when the aquatic center was being built, and I think it was basically decided that they would rather contract out the service than try to do laundry there themselves.
Yeah, we roughed in washing machine and dryer, but we never did follow through on it because it was just more than we wanted.
So we don't have a dryer or washer there to be able to handle these
No.
towels, is that what we're saying?
No.
Or somebody to do
It
it.
would take a real commercial one to do that.
All right, so in the long run, it's paying money.
I think, and I don't know Terry well enough, I think Barry, if there's a way to, he can turn a penny into 100 feet of wire. If it was cheaper for us to do it, I think we'd be doing it.
Okay.
And I'm-
And Terry is very conscientious
Yeah.
about things like that.
But your point is well taken. I know.
Now, my second question is concerning at the rec center, the brochures they put out every quarter, and I noticed the bill for, I guess that's for the brochures they put out for the fall, it was $5,000. And I was wondering if, I thought we were doing a lot of those online now, and if maybe we're ordering too many, 5,000 seems like a large number. Maybe I'm wrong, and the payoff of that, but I'm wondering do we need to order as many as we are, and maybe to reduce the cost of that a little bit, or is that about right?
I think that's a question you need to direct Randy to
Okay.
inquire with Brad to get
Okay.
back with you on the reason why it costs so much.
All right.
I'm sure it's factored within his budget, he's not going over his budget.
Okay.
They factored those costs in there, but I think that's something that Councilman Hubbard wants you or Barry to discuss with Brad to see if we can decrease those costs, if there's a way to do it. If not, that is within his budget. Just to
Thank you,
deal with
Mr.
it.
Showalter.
You got it.
I don't know how those are distributed, but I know that there's somewhere in the neighborhood of 11,000 people that use the rec center on a regular basis. And I don't know whether they all get a copy of that or not. If they've only got 5,000 copies, I would think so.
How many copies?
I always get a copy. They send me a copy just,
I do not know the number of copies, all I know is
I
the
guess-
total value.
Brandy, find out how many copies, because I know our tourism map, we got 20,000 copies one time, and it was close, over 2,000. And they were just tiny.
Now, these are, I mean, you've all
These are
seen them,
thick.
they are pretty thick.
Yeah, yeah. You know anything more about it, Mike?
We do post them online, so.
Well,
Okay.
I know that they have, they do have them available online, and I had the impression at some point that the number of brochures was gonna lessen
Right.
once we actually hard
I think
printed.
we've
So,
heard that.
I think if you want, I know Brad's out of town until the 7th, I believe. But anyway, if you wanna pursue that. Now, Charlton may be able to tell you.
I think they're distributed through the schools also,
That might be
All
part of it.
probably a big part of the
right.
cost.
I've got one other question. Am I reading everything correctly? We spend about $400,000 a year on phones?
Phone services?
Yeah, and that would be for cell and for landline. Is that about right?
I finished, I saw 15,500 for AT&T, it's about 10,000 for Verizon, it's another 2,500 for Nextel. The Motorola that's radios and things, and batteries.
Yeah,
That's-
that's sensors and that sort of thing.
Now, the Nextel that we have, Nextel cellular coverage, I'm just wondering, we pay Verizon Wireless and Verizon, we have Verizon coverage, and then we've got the Nextel coverage. Do we have two different, I just don't know what that is.
Nextel's two-way radio.
Is that what that is? Okay, that's why it's, okay, all right. And the other question, and I gotta ask this, it's only $240 on page 5. Merlot massage, is that for something like the seat, or is that?
No.
What is that?
It's meeting prep.
Okay, that's I just thought, man, what in the world?
It's one of them mayor fringe benefits we don't know nothing about.
And
I'm sorry, I didn't
I
hear what
knew-
it was for.
I just kept looking at that and I smiled myself.
Teaching classes, the class has been taught it.
Oh.
So this is actually her name, or her company name?
Yeah.
I move we approve the bills.
I'll second.
Motion and a second to approve the bills for this month. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Ms. Tweedy, pay the bills.
All right.
Got a few letters I'm gonna circulate around. One's an invitation for a dialogue on race relations.
They moved that date, didn't they?
Scheduled for January 19th at 10 a.m. at the Blacksburg Community Center.
That's a Saturday.
Yes.
It'll be from 10 until 2, and I plan to attend. I think Barry plans to attend, and there's no charge. So if any of you would like to attend that, you need to get registered.
Next item is a resolution. We've been requested to support the Crooked Road applying for National Heritage Area designation through the National Park Service.
The National Heritage Foundation is requesting of the Crooked Road to submit resolutions in support of by various agencies and communities. And we may want to wait until the tourism group
Our strategic plan.
does a resolution, but we'll do whatever you want to do. We've already let them know we support them.
Yeah, I got a email from Jack Henselwood listing some wordage that he had sent to Representative Griffith for it to be put into legislation that would govern that, and it was wordage coming from the North Carolina.
Yeah, well,
legislation.
this is a resolution which is a sample, so I
Yeah.
think this is what was sent to Congressman Griffith.
Have we done that, or do we need to take action?
We
do
haven't.
We
that.
haven't,
If it's your wishes, we can bring you a
if it's your wish is to
formalized
write a,
resolution for next
send in a
meeting.
resolution, we'll prepare it and have it for you at the next meeting.
I'm okay with that.
Too. All right, I'm seeing nods all around the table. So when we do the resolution, at that time, we'll take a vote on it.
Next item is a letter from the Villas at Pepper's Ferry. It's just basically complimenting the town on the appearance of the water pump station on Pepper's Ferry Road. Although I want to point out that is not our pump station, it's the Water Authority's pump station. I did scan the letter in and forward it to Jerry Higgins at the Water Authority, and also let the homeowners association know that it's not our pump station, credit belongs to the Water Authority, so.
And I did suggest at one time that they might put some fake-looking windows on the side of it to make it look a little better.
It looks nice, actually.
It does.
Well, I know they were here not too long ago complimenting us on the tower. It turned out, I think, much better than they had anticipated it being.
And there was a letter in front of you to the Montgomery County Schools that the mayor had sent back in November. It's just for your information. That's regarding the allocations from the Board of Supervisors with, I guess, the additional around $400,000.
I thought the letter was well written and it stated what we needed to say and without being hateful or anything like that, but just put it, I thought it was very well done.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
It wasn't an admonition to the school board, but it was a strong suggestion that they give consideration to spending that money in Christiansburg schools, and particularly Christiansburg High School. And we did send a copy to the Board of Supervisors. And I expressed our appreciation to Chairman Politas earlier in the month, or earlier in December, I can't think, and asked him if he would convey that to the Board of Supervisors, our appreciation for the allocation of the monies, without telling them how to spend it.
Just let you know, County Manager Helms is a grandfather again. His daughter gave birth on Friday to a baby girl, and they're gonna name her Penelope Francine, call her Finney, so.
That's good.
That's two within a
Congratulations
month,
to the
that's
town manager.
What?
2 within a month?
I think it's been more than a month, hasn't it?
Just a little over a month.
Yeah.
I'm also in receipt of a copy of a letter that was sent to the Transportation Secretary from the villas, insisting that a traffic signal be placed at, what's the name of the street, Quinn?
It's Quinn Stewart, and
Quinn
it's
Stewart,
exactly the same
right.
issue we're talking about Patrick's Way. Same-
And,
same issue.
They are very aggressive in getting that done. They stated in the letter that the town of Christiansburg didn't seem to be too concerned about safety and had turned down a request for a signal. So I don't know where that's gonna go, but it was from the homeowners association and signed by Mr. Conley and also by Wayne Booth. So that's just a copy of, I didn't respond to it since it was a copy of a letter to someone else. Anything else?
That's all I have.
Are we currently studying that, Mr. Mayor? The villas, I know we came up before and we had talked about it. Is that something that's sort of been referred over to the street committee for further review?
For the
villas?
the villas,
It's not
that was
one.
reviewed by VDOT.
Yeah, and they did a traffic
They
count.
They did a traffic count, and from what I remember, the numbers I remember, they had about 70% of the traffic they needed on there.
And when that goes to, well, it's essentially be what, 4 lanes or 2 lanes?
It's gonna be worse for
It's,
them.
yes, and I don't mean to be derogatory, and I'm not trying to be, but and I even mentioned this to some of the members, but in addition to the traffic, I'm also looking at the demographic that's trying to turn left or going right. And again, it's not, and I say this with as much respect as I can, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but reaction times are not gonna be as quick as it would be, maybe people come out of my neighborhood, things like that. And that's why I wondered if there's these levels. I know we have an objective standard, but there's also bleed areas, there's some gray areas when you get too close to the level or to the minimum thresholds. Is this something, Mr. Sipes, Ms. Van Hoosier, you think that perhaps when it goes 4 lanes, that might be one of those, that might put us more in from an objective to a little bit of a subjective standard with some of the other information we have access to?
There are 9 warrants in the manual of uniform traffic control devices, but we affectionately refer to a 10th warrant as being the political warrant.
Right.
And I'm only halfway joking about that. What happens is, and it's a slippery slope, if you do it in one place without the proper warrants, then the door keeps knocking for others. And there has to be some baseline, some metric to say this is what we do and when we do it. And so, yeah, we can do whatever, I think we can do whatever we choose to do, but we just need to keep in mind that there has to be some framework or some consistency in how that's applied.
Well, there's
And
a
I'm
couple of
sensitive
things
to
gonna
that. When I
happen out
campaigned
there.
out there, that was the biggest thing on their mind.
There's a couple of things gonna happen out there, and we need to keep it on the surface and take a look at it. But when they change Stafford Drive entrance and exit there's gonna be broadened out. And
Stafford is gonna be realigned.
realigned, and that
Majestic.
may give some alternate, and give them some help there. I don't
If
know.
they would go to Stafford Drive to
Right.
enter 46, or Route
114.
114, or Pepper Sperry Road, it would probably help their cause, but then they lose that entrance, which is sort of,
They're in the same boat.
Picturesque place.
If you could drive up the numbers just a little bit of how much traffic is using Quinn Stewart, then they'd be right there where they need to be to where you can say, yeah.
Yeah, but they may learn to use Stafford Drive some, because it's further away from the mall.
Right.
And that traffic light's gonna be down there and so forth. And the traffic light may help, the one that's gonna be at the Holiday Inn, but we need to keep all of those in focus.
To put a traffic signal at Quinn Stewart across a 4-lane highway, I think it's about $100,000 per pole, and I don't know how many poles would be required, but it's gonna be better than $200,000.
As long as they take and put those new ones in out there, $100,000, that'd be cheap.
The whole dynamics of that area is gonna change.
It's gonna change.
It will.
Yeah, absolutely.
It will.
I think we need to put the signals in when they're warranted. I don't think, I will, probably a better way to say it, I don't think we should look for ways not to put them in. I think we should
Well-
look for ways to optimize safety and all that stuff in town, but if we don't have a metric of some sort, then, you know, if we do for one, we'll end up doing it everywhere, and that is not necessarily the best
Oh, sure.
stewardship of our.
Do I understand that if we were to go ahead and put a traffic light in, then we bear liabilities?
You can, if it's not warranted, absolutely.
Yeah, so anything that happened,
If it's not properly warranted, you do accept some responsibility. Sovereign immunity probably take care of a lot of that, as Jim would probably tell us. However, that doesn't mean it's a good, I mean, just because you don't think you get sued over it
I don't-
doesn't mean that's what you should do.
I don't
That's not a
think there's
good
a
reason
question.
not to do it.
I don't think there's a question that we don't want to see one out there.
Yeah, no.
I mean,
Well,
I would like to see one if it's warranted,
Yeah.
as long as it's
Sure.
warranted. We
Those
support it.
Mr. Mayor, we
folks-
got about 3 minutes before you have to change
yeah,
the tape.
those folks really need some relief there.
Yeah.
And I'm in that area real often since I have a relative that lives there. And I know you can sit there for 10 minutes trying to get out and you just,
Friday
looks like they
afternoon,
just never
it's
quit
terrible.
coming.
Well, it's two things, it's the traffic, and then right across the street being that little strip mall.
Yeah.
People always stop there, turning left in emergencies to get access to the strip
Yeah.
mall. So you're just
Okay.
waiting.
Is there anything else to come before council at this time? If not, we have a motion to adjourn. All in favor, please stand.